All right. Unlike Manny, we do have time. John and Jim with you here on the wrap-up show. We will be with you for at least the next hour. I told you a month ago, we told you there's no such thing as a low point when you have a bad team, and the Padres are playing like bad team, and it was not a low point when they lost 2 days ago, and I don't know if tonight was a low point or not. There'll be a lot of discussion about this game, Jim, over the next hour, including Manny Machado's inability to speak with the media tonight following another disappointing Padres loss. The captain of the team not meeting with the media post-game, and the Padres lose 9-4. It's about more than just Machado, obviously, tonight. It's about really the direction of this franchise as well. So John and Jim with you here on the wrap-up show. Please subscribe if you're here. Smash the like button for us. Follow us on Twitter at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. We will get to all the supers. If you want to vent, make sure to do it with the super. Click the $ below the chat box. We know a couple of supers have rolled in. We'll get to them momentarily. We appreciate your support. You can become a member as well. For the season, as low as you can get, losing to the Pirates in Pittsburgh tonight, 9-4, and we'll see what happens from here, Jim.
What do you always say?
Heavy is the head that wears the crown.
Well, besides that.
Jim's an idiot.
Besides that, you say it could always get worse.
It can always get worse.
It can always get worse. You think that this is rock bottom? Who says tomorrow, and knock on wood, God forbid, doesn't happen, but who says tomorrow someone doesn't get hurt? Like, things can always get worse. So to say this is rock bottom for this team, you could be right. This could be absolutely rock bottom for this team. But to put this team past not getting worse, I can't do. Like, they can absolutely get worse because that's who they are. They're a team with no fight. They're a team that tonight, I even turned to you today on the show when the game was happening because John and Jim was on during the show, and they went down 5-3 after being up 3-0. I looked at you and I said, you know what? Honestly, this is the game that I want the Padres to be in. I want the Padres to be in a game on the road where they're trailing in a situation that you're in pretty close to must win. It's not absolute must win, but you're in a pretty close situation of like you have to win this game. So I want to see how they respond. I want to see if this team has the fight in them that they need to get back in this thing. And then it got to 6-4, and then it got 7, and then it was 9-4, and it was kaput. And I just kind of hate to be proven right, but they showed no fight tonight, backed up by what Bob Melvin said post-game, that the spirit wasn't there and that the other team – what was the exact quote? That the other team, the other guys play with more spirit. I forget the exact quote.
We scored 3 runs, had some good momentum. You give up 3, but that shouldn't be it. You know, they come back with a couple, and then it just seemed like they had a little bit more spirit the rest of the game than we did. I mean, translation, like you always say, that goes to your point. I mean, I kind of fought back against the, hey, this team doesn't have any fight. But when the manager says the team doesn't have any fight, then the team doesn't have any fight.
John, this is at least the 3rd or 4th time that Bob Melvin has called this team out in different ways.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
This isn't the first time that Bob Melvin has said these things about the team. This is the same thing over and over again, just using a different word to describe them. So I'm at a loss for words, honestly. You're at a loss for words. And then I think it couldn't have gotten worse until I read what Manny said to AC tonight. And that pretty much made me lose my fucking mind.
So, okay, let's just read it again. So it was Manny, who didn't speak with the media, by the way, Sunday, who is the captain of the team, and who said tonight to Kevin Acee, I don't have time. I haven't heard the audio. I don't know the circumstance. I don't know if he was literally boarding a bus. I mean, I don't know what the hell he was doing, but when you read that and you see the way this team is so listless, and that's the captain of the team, and he doesn't have time, that's not going to go over well. It's just not.
And like you said, I mean, I don't think AC would put things out of context.
Like, neither do I. Not with Manny.
Like, I don't think he would do. We know AC. He wouldn't do that to put Manny in a bad light. If Manny legitimately did not have time, or he was like, hey man, I don't have time. I got to get like treatment, or
Yeah,
I got to go
exactly. There could be
or
something. Yeah.
something like that, right?
Well, he should have completed the quote. If he says, "Hey, I don't have time. I literally am seeing my brother," or whatever,
Yeah.
that's completely different. But if the direct quote is "Get out of my face," he didn't say because I don't have time and just turned his back to him. I mean, who is going to be accountable for the team's performance? I mean, they go to Bob Melvin every single night. It's his job. He speaks with the media before and after every single game. He's literally required to do it. Manny Machado can be on the back of a milk carton for a month. You don't hear from him, and the team isn't even playing well, nor is he. At some point, you got to look yourself in the mirror. You got to be the bigger man. Fernando Tatis Jr. comments a lot. Joe Musgrove comments a lot. Manny Machado, I mean, this is big boy sports. You're paid handsomely. You just got a $350 million contract. When the going gets tough, we need to hear from you. I'm sorry. That's how it works.
100%. I don't care if you are going to just repeat the same things over and over and over again.
That's right.
I applauded Manny Machado last week on, I think it was Friday, for what he said and the accountability that he took for their play, and telling Marty, look, it's not on the coaches. They do their job. It's not on Bob. He does his job. It's on us. We need to get this done. It's on us. And right now we're not performing. And I applauded Manny for that, for finally kind of putting onus on the players not getting it done this year. But as you have said, John, Manny can be pretty moody. One day you get one Manny, the other day you get another Manny. And to me, that's not a great thing to have if you're expected to be the leader of the team. You need to be pretty even keel the entire time. And to not speak on Sunday, okay, you're whatever. Maybe he legitimately was doing something, whatever, okay. But then to back it up and to not speak again tonight, you're like you said, I don't care if you say the same thing over and over again. You're the leader of this team. You talk, and you are the person that gives the media like what a leader should give them. And that's what Manny failed to do tonight. And I've said this before, Manny, you look at the team that in the 2019, he completely quit on them. That team completely quit on Andy Green, and Andy Green got fired. 2020, he played well, albeit it was 60 games, made the postseason. Everything was good. 2021, not a great year. Tingler got fired. Manny didn't have a really good season, and things kind of blew up everywhere. And then he had the blow up with Tatis in the dugout. 2022, it was great because he had a great season, and they made the NLCS. Now he's having a shitty year, so he's taking everybody down with him. That's, to me, like what is the problem with Manny Machado. He is such a go with the wind type of guy that when he's great, then everything's great around him. When he's shit, he makes sure that everything around him is shit, it feels like.
Yeah, it's hard to, I think it's well said. I mean, it's hard to imagine that some of the team's issues that they're experiencing right now aren't tied to Manny Machado's issues. And you could take it further than just his on-field issues, potentially, if you wanted to, just based on comments like what you saw tonight or heard tonight to Kevin Acee. Let me get to the first super of the night that rolled in from Rocket before the show. Rocket, thank you. Rocket, I was at this game tonight at PNC Park, and it's basically the same old team. As soon as the Pirates answered back with 3 runs, it was over. I mean, this is one of the, here's what I was thinking about today, Jim, and this has nothing to do with Bob Melvin. It has nothing to do with Manny Machado. It has everything to do with the front office and the decision-making process. Do you know they could have pitched Blake Snell tonight on 4 days rest? And they would have still had everyone on full rest until Saturday, where Darvish could have slid in. Now, he was ill, which is fine. That happens and isn't with the team. They could have pitched Blake Snell on 4 days rest. They elected not to. Snell's been great, obviously, recently. They wanted to give him the additional day, which they've been doing when available. And they elected to pitch Reese Kinnear. But you're 4 games under 500, and the calendar's about to flip to July, and you're not attacking. You're treating it like, well, it's a long season. I mean, it's not going to be a very long season pretty soon if you lose the next 2 days. So,
do you honestly think
that's got nothing to do with Melvin? It's got nothing to do with anyone other than the fact that Blake Snell didn't pitch on a normal 4 days rest today.
Do you honestly think Blake Snell, an impending free agent at the end of this year, is really going to be that guy to go to Bob Melvin and be
3 days
like,
rest?
pitch me on 4 days rest.
But it's not 3 days. 4 is normal rest. He's
I
on
know.
normal rest.
It's partially Blake Snell, and it's also partially the team. I think.
I don't know. I'd love to hear the line of thinking there. And now we haven't heard from AJ Preller since the Reagan administration.
No, we did hear from him. We heard from him one time from John Heyman, and that was, he said, the team sucks because we can't hit.
But what are we playing for? Are we playing for, well, in August, we're going to be watching Buffalo Bills training camp on NFL Network if we're not careful here. So, yeah, listen, I understand there's going to be times you need to make spot starts. They had the situation with Waka and shoulder fatigue. That's fine. That's nobody's fault. So pitch whomever the hell the knuckleballer is, and he pitched well. But now you got guys on normal rest, and now let's give him the 5th day. I mean, come on. Like, you had a 3-0 lead. You have a 3-0 lead for Blake Snell in this game, you win. You have a 3-0 lead for Reese Kinnear, and you're embarrassed. I don't know. Yeah. My 2 cents. I mean, it's like, this goes back to, I've said this for 4 years with this franchise. It's like, even the 60-game season, it's like, are you in this thing to win it, or are you in this thing to manage it and massage it?
This team, I'm just going to say what Bob Melvin said. They just don't have any spirit. They get down and they just say, well, we tried. No fight, nothing. I mean, how many double plays they hit into tonight in the middle of their lineup?
I mean, what, first pitch swinging in the first inning, Tatis, third inning.
You can't light up a pitcher who is literally as old as you.
He's older than me.
I mean,
by 3 months.
He's 43 years old. He's older than John. And tonight
he looks way older than me.
Tonight he made the Padres look silly. I know you're probably thinking, well, he gave up 4 runs. He did exactly what he needed to do.
Did he get through 6? I mean, they stuck with him in the 6th inning somehow, I think. Yeah, they did.
I mean,
through the full 6th inning, there's guys on base. It made no sense.
It's a joke. It's an absolute joke what this team is doing right now. And it's just, the exclamation point was I don't have time. What do you got to do, Manny? You don't
okay,
have time?
Good segue for Juan Soto Walks. It says, I don't have time to quote unquote jump on the bandwagon anymore. This from Juan Soto Walks. Of course, it was Manny, I think infamously now, that said, when we start raking, you're going to effing jump on the bandwagon. That was in April. Then we don't hear from him for a month. He doesn't hit. He gets hurt, not his fault. And now there's this charade. This is a charade. I mean, this is June. These aren't dog days. This is June. This is the first half of the season. There are still more games to play than have been played. We haven't even touched the All-Star break. The weather's not even hot. You're coming off an off day. I mean, this is inexcusable stuff. I mean, it really is, that the way the team is acting. And Melvin was asked specifically about that. Like, from Kevin, I thought it was fair. He's like, they don't really seem like I'm paraphrasing. They don't really seem to be jiving. They don't really seem to be into it. He's like, well, listen, we've said this a million times, Jim. Well, when a team's not playing well or trailing, it's hard to really be rah-rah. But he's like, I can't disagree with you. So he gave you the typical line, which is, well, it's kind of hard to be rah-rah or to be into it when you're not hitting, you're not having success. But with all that being said, I mean, kind of what you're saying is true. I mean, it looks flat. That's what Kevin said. He said, hey, you guys look flat. I mean, do you feel that? And he's like,
how could you be flat when you're playing against some of the worst teams in baseball?
And you're coming off an off day.
And you're coming off an off day, and you know that you got to start winning baseball games. I mean, there's 7.5 games out of a wild card spot.
It's a massive number, obviously.
They are double digits now.
Out of the division.
Out of the division. They're done. The division's done, by the way. Anybody that has hope for the division, you're ludicrous, because this is over. The division title, give me a break.
I'll make any bet anyone wants to make about the division.
I'll literally bet you anything. Exactly. They're not winning the division. You're 7.5 out from the wild card, and you're flat. The quote from Manny, and it's, the jump on the bandwagon quote. Mm-hmm. I'd rather have this happen now than down the road. Well, it's still happening. It's just, don't jump on the bandwagon later when we start fucking raking and we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. You know what they're going to do? This is going to be typical Padres. It's going to be September 2nd. They're 9.5 out from a wild card spot. and they're going to go win 11 of 12 and then give you a little bit of hope.
Yeah, they'll be 3.5 out.
They'll be like 3.5 or 4 out with like 13 to play. And then they'll lay down and die.
I don't know what to predict. I really can't. I can't predict it. I mean, that's almost like a decent scenario if they win 11 of 12 and pull to within 3 games of a playoff spot with 2 weeks to play.
Typical Padres of winning when it doesn't matter.
You know, there's so many places to take this. I mean, the truth is, I mean, you can't. I mean, even we can. You know, I can't with any level of credibility say on June 27th that it's fully and completely over. I can't do that. But I can also be like, you know, you're watching the same team we're watching. I mean, does anyone have any faith in what they're watching to go on one of these? I mean, really, it's going to have to be a pretty special run. I mean, to get to 89 wins, which is what they got to last year, they have to have a 627 winning percentage from here on out.
You have to have like a win.
It's kind of laughable.
You have to win like 10 in a row twice the next
now
3 months.
Again, maybe, you know, do you have to win 89 games to get in? Well, the last wildcard team right now is pacing for 91 wins to get in, but does someone fall off? I mean, who knows? You can't even worry about it. What you can worry about is not embarrassing the franchise every time you play by losing consecutive games to Nationals at home, by getting embarrassed by a team that was 1-12 in their last 13 games.
You know what's wild to me? Like I follow some people on Twitter who are Yankees fans. Like they're national, like they're Yankees fans. And they're pissed all the time about the Yankees play this year. And I'm thinking
like, what, like 10 over?
And I'm like, let me check to see what
terrible, yeah.
Like, let me see what the Yankees record is, because they must be fucking
it must be
horrible.
awful.
They're 43-36.
Right.
I mean, everybody in this chat right now, we have over 400 people watching. Everybody in this chat would take a 43-36 record right now.
I would like give up yeah, exactly. Like I would like fast for a day.
you would eat you
know,
meat.
I'd eat meat. If we could change all this right now and say, you know what, they're actually better than this. This is all a nightmare. A lot of people would do a lot to change this thing.
But right now, you're going down a path that is going to cause potentially, and I don't know where Peter Seidler's head's at, potentially is going to cause massive changes.
I mean, we'll get into that because we talked about the other day and we were right. I mean, who's going to be in charge of the trade deadline? What are they trying to accomplish, buy or sell? Is AJ probably the one that's going to be allowed to do that? If you made a change at GM, do you keep the manager? There's a zillion things to go through. Right now, it's just a 9-4 loss to the Pirates. What are the repercussions of the way they're playing? I mean, it could literally alter the future of the franchise if this team plays this way for 162 games. Let's get to these supers, guys. If you're here, subscribe. If you're here, thank you for the supers. If you want to vent, we're going to get to every single super. If you want to control the direction of the conversation, click the $ below the chat box. 619 Cam, thank you for your super. Thank you for your membership. He says, all I can say is, I mean, WTF. How are they not embarrassed? Where is Manny effing Machado? Let me just say this before
Well, he doesn't have time. So
the part of it that actually is kind of utterly shocking is you're halfway through the season and Manny Machado has a 700 OPS. I mean, it's one thing to be brash. It's one thing to say things that people don't like. We had it last year at Dodger Stadium on Manny F. Machado, right? But he had a good year. So he's been that person. But to have a 700 OPS with 9 home runs at the halfway point, I mean, this is crazy. This is crazy. He's in the prime of his career. Is it hand related? Is it back related? Is it lower body related? I got no clue, but he's responsible for his performance because he's the captain of the team. And if this continues into the second half, it's by far the worst season of his career, and there is no close second.
If they don't make the postseason, if Manny doesn't have a turnaround here of like biblical proportions, like some massive turnaround here, and I don't hear at the end of the season, I take full blame for this year. I needed to be better, and I'm the captain of this team, and I bear responsibility for how we played. Then I'm kind of over, man. I mean, we got to have some awareness here, dude. And you're here for another 10 years after this, 11 actually, right? Or is it 10? 10 years after this. So you're going to have to deal with this. The ups and downs, the emotional roller coaster of Manny Machado, you're just going to have to deal with if you're a Padres fan. But the first year of this mega contract and you're doing this shit for a team that is probably never going to have the same amount of talent on it ever again because of the payroll. It's
And
never
by
going to
the
be
way,
higher.
and they didn't sign you for the 2031 and 32 and 33 seasons
That's
and
not
34.
right.
I
They
think
signed
or
you for
33
this
might be
year, and they already had him this year.
yeah,
But
like no, honestly, 2031, 32, and 33 will be miserable failures of that contract. But you have to produce in the first half of these 11 years because you're 30 and you have to make good because the end of this deal is going to look bad. The end of the Bogarts deal is going to look bad, right?
horrible, dude,
So
horrible.
the 340 or whatever it was, 340, 350 is actually, and whatever it is per year, 34 per year, 30, whatever it is, it's actually more because you're banking on the first 5 years. You're not banking on the last 5 years. Well, this is one of those first 5 years. This is 20% of the first 5 years, and he hasn't produced. So
Yeah,
it's
he hasn't.
it's a very odd the way they've handed out these contracts, whoever you want to hold accountable, Peter Seidler, AJ Preller, front office, analytic, whatever they've done. I mean, it's going to leave room for a crazy amount of second guessing because they've stretched these things out for so long. They tried to lower the AAV, and they're paying everyone until they're 40 years of age. I mean, those don't typically work out. I mean, name an example of guys that are, worth $35 million in their age 40 season in the history of baseball. Barry Bonds. There's not a lot.
No, I can't off the top of my head right now in the new era of baseball.
Right. Post steroid.
Yeah.
Either can I. Like just to entertain it for 2 seconds, just because, Barry Bonds in age 42 season had a 480 on base, but come on.
Right.
What are the odds that Manny Machado is going to be that in age 42? Mark, thank you. He says time for blood. I've always got time for that. I mean, I think it would be short-sighted to fire the manager in the middle of the season. What will it accomplish, and what power are you giving to AJ Preller? I think it would be short-sighted to fire AJ Preller unless you had something lined up.
You can't do it right now.
You can't. It just doesn't make any sense.
It's organizational
unless you're hiring
suicide.
your future president of baseball operations in June, you just can't do it. You got to bite your tongue, bite the bullet, and see where you are October 1st.
Yeah,
as tough as that is.
As much as Preller deserves this blame, you cannot by any means get rid of him until at the earliest the end of the year. Like it would be organizational suicide to get rid of him 2 weeks before the draft and then a month before the trade deadline.
Mm-hmm.
No chance.
And that's why they're not going to. I mean, they're
no
not.
chance.
But I see it. I see it on fire Preller, fire Melvin.
That's for after the season. And I said too, look, I'm not going to definitively say that the Preller needs to go until we see a full year, but you can probably guess where I'm leaning towards with Preller after
extension?
all of this. Probably not. You give him the whole year. I give him the whole year. I give him the whole year, and then we'll make a definitive call on what I think what they should do with Preller. But until then,
otherwise, who's in charge?
Yeah, you're not going.
And what are you accomplishing? And then, by the way, someone's in charge for 2 months, and then you hire someone else. And they're like, "Oh, I don't think we should have gone there with those picks. Oh, I would have moved Josh Hader. Oh, you kept him."
Yeah, imagine the guy comes. Imagine they fire Preller and they have Josh Stein, and then Josh Stein's like, "Okay," and he trades like always like, "What are we doing?"
That's not going to happen. I mean, Peter Seidler's going to have oversight. Obviously, he's going to need to at the trade deadline. Rocket, thank you again. He says before today, Austin Hedges had not been on base 4 times in the game since 2019. It's poetry seeing him stick it to us as usual from an ex-Padre. What a joke. I mean, that is incredible that he can reach base safely 4 times in a game. And that kind of summarizes the fortune of the Padres right now. It really does. I mean, to go up 3-0 on the worst team in baseball, the team that's playing the worst in baseball, and then to immediately give it back, and then to really not fight. Now, it was 6-3. They made 6-4. They had second and third 2 outs. They were base hit away from a tie. They didn't come through. I think Grisham grounded back to Rich Hill. They've been terrible in those spots with runners in scoring position. It's kind of, on brand, to be honest, with what happened from there on out. Michael, thank you for your super. Guys, if you're here, we do appreciate the supers. Thank you for your support of the channel. Click the $ below the chat box. Padres really embarrassed the last 3 days by the Nationals and the Pirates. I mean, the Nationals and the Pirates. It's not the Dodgers.
The Pirates?
The Pirates.
Were 1-12 in the last 13 games.
Hitting 100 with men in scoring position.
And they scored a combined 6 runs in their last 5 home games. They scored 9 tonight because the Padres have no fucking pitching depth and they have to throw out Reese Kinnear.
Was pitching. Yeah. Who'd they even throw in this game? And how does this impact them tomorrow? So let me see. Kinnear 2 innings, Carlton 3 innings, Morahone an inning and 2/3, Honeywell an inning and a third, but you don't have Steven Wilson who went on the IL.
So that's what I said today. I said that's going to be something that was way bigger than losing Yu Darvish for a start.
Well, I don't know about that because I think if Yu Darvish starts this game, you win tonight.
Potentially.
If you give Yu Darvish a 3-0 lead, I feel a lot better about that than the way Reese Kinnear pitched tonight. He's got a 16 ERA in the big leagues this year, Reese Kinnear. Michael, thank you. With 83 games left, can they win 52? Just have the same record as last year. Is that enough for another postseason? How should I keep the faith? All right, a couple things, Michael. And thank you for the super. Is there any reason to believe the Padres can close 52-31?
No. Nope.
They can't go 31-31 over the last 62 games, nor close to it. So do I believe they can go 52-31? I mean, is it possible? Of course it's possible. Is it probable? No, it's unlikely. Let's be honest. Then the question, is it enough for the postseason? No guarantee.
Nope.
It could be or it could not be. You imagine that they go 52-31 and miss out. I mean, that's where they've put themselves, where 52 wins doesn't guarantee them the postseason. You know, I'm not punting on the season at this point because, you know, get to the trade deadline and see if you've made something of the next month. But you get to the trade deadline, you're in the same spot, Jim. And I mean, all eyes for me are on 2024 and how on earth you're going to position yourself for next season. I mean, if you get to the trade deadline 5 games under 500 and 8 games out of a playoff spot, I'm thinking about 2024.
You're going to have to deal with the Dodgers, who you can't beat. Let's be real here. You can't beat the Dodgers. The Giants, who you couldn't beat this past week. You look pretty inferior to them. The Marlins, they're probably the one team you might say, oh, they could fall off.
Yeah.
But they're playing really good.
Yeah.
Philadelphia, who was in the World Series last year, and they still have the same core with them. I mean, they're not probably going to go anywhere. And then the Arizona, who is leading the division, who, if they happen to fall off, they're going to be right in the wild card race, and you are 10 games back of them.
Yeah, like making up 10 games in 80. I mean, think about that. You know, Arizona goes 35-45, and you got to go 45-35. And by the way, you're still well behind the Giants and the Dodgers because, the math doesn't work. I mean, the division math doesn't work. Does the wild card math work? If you go 52-31, maybe.
But here's the thing, though, John. We might be looking at the math right now, but I'm looking at the teams. This ain't like you have to take on teams that have never been there before. You're facing off against the Dodgers, who you literally, no matter what, you're not going to beat them. You're just not, because they own you. The Giants, they're just a better team than you. They have a better organization than you right now. The Marlins, maybe you could because they're kind of an upstart team.
But it's less about them, and I agree everything you're saying could be spot on, but I'm saying I can't concern myself with the Giants or anyone or the Phillies. If the Padres somehow in this fake universe went 52-31, I'll let the chips fall, is my point.
Right. Yeah. But who says that the other teams in front of you don't go?
But they may, because 89 wins with 6 teams making the postseason, and it seems logical.
And they could still technically miss the postseason if they win 89 games by 3 or 4 games.
3 or 4 is aggressive. I don't think the last playoff spot's going to be 92 wins. That seems high.
Maybe.
But last year was 87. Is that going up by 5 wins this year? That seems like a huge number. But, yeah, could it be 90? I mean, the point's valid. That's what I'm saying. You go 52 wins isn't going to guarantee it. I think I would let the chips fall. If someone told me right now the Padres can close 52-31, I'll fast forward.
Me too. I'll hit
what happened?
I'll do sim season. I'll be like, okay, cool. 89 wins, boom, sim season.
Yeah, because if we don't simulate it, they might win 69 games.
Yeah, where are they at? Are they in the postseason? I want to see right now.
Right. James, thank you. He says, I think the clubhouse tension has a lot to do with how things are going. Hopefully swapping a few players at the trade deadline will get us into gear. James, thank you for the super. I don't think it's going to work like that. And I think if they're continuing to play poorly at the trade deadline, I don't think they're trying to really position their 26-man roster to make the postseason. I don't think they'll chase it down if the writing is literally on the wall and they're 8 games out of a playoff spot. That's like, we keep talking about like organizational suicide of this. That's just egregious. Why would you do that? I mean, if you're 8 games out of a playoff spot, you're not going to make the postseason because it's just not going to happen. So we'll see. I mean, I think here's what I would say, James. If the team can produce before the deadline, they'll make Peter Seidler and AJ Preller make a decision. But if the team just plays like this for the next month, why on earth would Peter Seidler and AJ Preller give up any asset for 2023? Anything.
And if they're in a spot, say they're like 7 games out from a wild card spot, not the end of the world, but it's also like huge hill to climb.
Huge.
Are they going to sit pat, or are they going to say, what we've seen this year, we don't believe that they can be back in this thing, so we're actually going to trade Snell. We're going to trade Hader. And
I think that's the smart decision.
That's the decisions that they're going to be having to make if they are at like some gray area, like the 6-7 game range out of a playoff spot. I mean, if you're 12 out, you're definitely selling.
Well, there's no 12. Yeah, I mean 12 out, Jesus.
10 out. I mean, if you're double digits out, you're selling. But I mean, like 5-6 range, you're like thinking to yourself, maybe we could do this.
Yeah,
even though they've shown you nothing that could support that.
You want to mortgage anything for now? If you're, you know what I mean though? Like, yeah, you're right. At 5 out, it's very possible, but like you're willing to put more your like in future on the table. You're not putting Jackson Merrill, Ethan Salas, but any of it. You're gonna put A-ball pitching prospects on the table. You're gonna put position player prospects and A-ball on the table to go chase down 2023.
And does this clubhouse, if they're 5, 6, 7 out of a wild card spot at the trade deadline, do they even deserve any help? Like, do they deserve the front office who, I mean, gets the blame and put them in this position? Like, do they deserve them to be rewarded and get players to come in here and try to help?
Padres but do fans like the like collateral damage and all this? We were talking about today. I think all fair is like we feel so bad collectively for everyone that has been with us day in and day out, and the fact that how much time and effort and money do we put into this product? And we get it. It's sports. It's not always perfect. If you were only a sports fan because your team won, there wouldn't be a lot of sports fans. Right. Like this has been so disappointing that do the Padres owe it to their fan base to not punt on this season and not trade Josh Hader and not trade Blake Snell and say, you know what, it's not good, and we're not going to mortgage our future and trade, everyone away for 2023. But do we hold on to Snell and Hader and say, you know what, maybe we'll play well in August and September because we're going to draw 3 million fans? Is it fair to the fan base to kick this down the road to 2024? I mean, there's a lot of questions that need to be answered.
It wouldn't be, but you can't always do things. You have to do what's right for the organization first and foremost. The betterment of the organization. Now it can be said, like, does even AJ Preller know how to do that with this organization? Because he hasn't done anything yet as far as build for the future and make this thing as sustainable and a winner and no drama. Like the environment of the Padres organization is just built on one word. It's toxic. It feels like this whole organization is just this toxic organization that can't get anything right. And when that happens, there has to be a cleanse of some sort. Even with the Cardinals this year, completely just shitting the bed. Would you say that that organization has been toxic over the years? Or
no, it's not going to cost John Mozeliak, I wouldn't think, his job either, would be my guess.
Would this just be manager. Like actually on the players for the Cardinals?
Yeah, I mean, I guess listen, if you're good 9 out of 10 years, then you can have the 10th year. When you're not good 9 of every 10 years, it opens up more to interpretation. We need to tell you about our title sponsor, Mark Nimitz, in a moment, and we will. We thank you guys for hanging out. If you're here, please subscribe. Thank you for the super chats as well. Richard, I'll get back to your super in a moment. We do want to remind you, Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance is the title sponsor of the wrap-up show. Without your support, we can't do this. Without Mark's support, we cannot do this either. He's been with us since day one. He's a great insurance agent. You can take it from us. I got my homeowners, my earthquake, my life insurance policy through Mark. Here's his website. You can click the link in the description down below to get to his website and get a free quote online, whatever you need. Mark's your guy, San Diegan, lifelong Padres fan, as frustrated as we all are. And the next time you have a renewal need or a new insurance policy you're looking for information on, you can get free quotes from Mark. He'll talk to you about the Padres struggles. We'll talk to you about how to save money. He can save you $750 or more just by switching insurance. If you have a claim like I did last year, he'll save you so much money and time. He's a great insurance agent, great service and communication. And again, if you support our channel, if you support our work, please support our local partners, including our title sponsor here on the Wrap Up Show, Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance.
Yeah, all his information always is above my head. mnimitz at farmersagent.com. When you reach out to him, let him know that John and Jim from the Wrap Up Show sent you.
All right, thank you, Mark.
Sorry. Speaking of like the future of the Padres, this is from one of the San Francisco Giants beat reporters, kind of pointing to like at the trade, like what the Padres might do if this thing blows up in their face, which is kind of right in front of them. He said the Padres have done nothing but build up and tear down under Preller. We forget that because lately they've just built up and up and up. But if they continue to flounder, why? Well, he said founder, but
okay.
He meant flounder.
Mm-hmm.
Why the heck wouldn't they trade Soto at the deadline? They'll never have a better chance to reload.
Yeah, no, that to me is like trying to pull off like a 40 chess move and getting beat on like the first move of your pawn. And let me explain why. He's not a free agent at the end of the year. You've sold 3 million tickets in 2023. You ain't selling anywhere near 3 million tickets in 2024 if you start selling off pieces like Juan Soto. I mean, because then you're telling your fan base we're further away. It's down the line. You can't. Juan Soto's 25. It is organizational negligence to move Soto and give 15-year deals to 30-year-old players. So Soto stays for me because Soto, even despite all of this, Jim, is a net positive, a 900 OPS player who's 24 years of age. So you're going to punt on 2024 because your 2023 sucks? To rebuild for when? You're going to go build up that farm to play with Manny Machado when he's 34 years old? With Xander Bogaerts when he's 34? With Yu Darvish when he's 39? With Joe Musgrove when he's 33? No, not me. I'm going to go win. I'm going to go try to win in 2024. What
if someone offers you the same trade package that you offer to the Nationals to get Soto?
The same is still an unknown. I mean, nobody has any clue what those players are going to be in the long run. Mackenzie Gore.
I just mean like you're
that caliber of player.
Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 prospects in an organization.
You and I both know it won't happen with a year and a half left, and he hasn't been the 1100 OPS player. He's not Shohei Ohtani.
I know it wouldn't.
But because they're not going to get that back, I'm not moving them. And even if I did get that back, but don't you get my point? I'm getting the 1, 2, 3, and 4 best prospect. Well, then why did I just spend $200 million on Xander Bogaerts and Manny Machado? I'm going to have a bunch of 24-year-olds come up together and play with a 34-year-old core?
I'm just asking a question. I'm just saying.
Come on, Jim.
Fucker. I'm just asking. Hey, would you do it? If you got a package Soto. Of similar to what you traded away for?
No, here's what I'm doing. I'm holding Juan Soto. And if I suck again in 2024 at the deadline, I move him. And I cut my losses. Richard, thank you. He says, difference between Kershaw and Manny. Kershaw will answer the media no matter the outcome. He will stand in front of his locker and give sincere answers. I mean, literally, they put like a meme of him on the video board. And the next day, he was like, I'm cool with it. I get it. I didn't pitch well. They can do it. Padres are 19 and 27 cents.
It's the meme's fault.
It's the meme's fault. Whoever that guy is, that video guy, like, I might be like,
you're fired.
I'm like checking my email every day. Like, is everything cool? Big Jan SD, thank you. He says Siler needs to do something. Preller has to go. Tired of these overpaid diva players with no heart. Sorry, Padres fans, but we got played this year. I mean, it does feel like that. Like he did get played. It really does. Sold a bill of goods from FanFest on.
Yeah, and it's the players that have completely shit the bed. Yeah, it's bad all around. They suck.
All right, let me move on here. Thank you again, Big Jan SD. Thank you, Zach, for your very generous super as well. Thank you, guys. Click the $sign below the chat box. We'll get to it all tonight. Padres lose in Pittsburgh to fall 5 games under 500, matching a low water mark for the season. They're 7.5 games out of a playoff spot, 10.5 games out of first place in the National League West. He says for our mental health, all 23 expectations need to be way lowered. Can't drop Soto till 24 deadline. Thank you. Get lucky and get rid of one of our bad contracts. LOL. Bomel 50-50, AJ out in October.
Here's the thing about lowering expectations. If you lower expectations, then everything's fine. Like that's not what this season was about, or the next season, or the season after that, or the season after that, or the season after that. The expectations now are World Series.
Mm-hmm.
And to lower those expectations is loser mentality.
Oh, but you and I did. But the expectations are in World Series right now.
But going into the year, they were.
They're going into the year. They've changed. Sorry.
But
I mean, it's not because of their performance.
If you're telling me that you need to lower your expectations and be just content with
not about being content.
Maybe they've been competing for a playoff spot, that's not it. It's not it.
No, I agree. But I mean, remember we said Friday, I think they had a 40% chance of making the postseason. Today, they had a 34% chance of making the postseason. They lose game one to the Pirates. They're down to 28% per Fangraphs. They were at 95%.
But if they win tomorrow, then they're back up to 40%.
They're up to like, I mean, everyone knows where this is heading unless something pretty special happens. And if they collectively dig out of this together over a period of time. And yes, they have, it's so stupid to say, yeah, there's enough baseball games to technically do it, but we haven't seen anything in the first 79 to lead us to believe that it's on its way. JD's third, thank you for the super. Says AJ Tingler-Preller needs to go now, period. It's not going to happen.
It won't. It won't happen now. As much as you guys want it to happen, it just won't. The pressure will be definitely put on Peter Seidler to make a move if they don't turn this around. That's for sure. And you're going to see it from the paper, from us, from fans. Like you'll probably hear a lot of fans that won't renew season tickets this offseason because of it. And then Seidler's going to have to make a decision that is this acceptable or not? Or is he going to once again deem shit like this a fluke like he did 2021?
I don't think he can this year. I don't think he can. Scott, thank you for the super. Very kind. He says, where's Peter Seidler? Should he pull a Ray Kroc and grab the mic next home game? Thanks, John and Jim. Thank you, Scott. I don't think you're going to get the Steve Cohen epiphany. The buck stops with me. I'm talking to the New York media Wednesday at 3 p.m. tweet. I really
love that.
And by the way, and Jim mentioned that we talked about this today. Like you asked, like, don't you really want to hear from Peter Seidler? I'm like, with all due, I think Peter Seidler is a very well polished, professional sports owner. I don't think he's going to make many missteps publicly when he speaks. I'm not. What would he say? He would take responsibility. Yeah, he would take responsibility and say, I still believe he's an optimist. To his credit, he would say, there's enough time. We have a team. I trust in AJ, and I think we're going to put this thing together. That's what he would say now. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean he wouldn't have a different opinion in October. He's not going to vilify this team in June when he's got 41,000 tickets sold for Monday night against the Angels.
100%.
But he will in October potentially, although we don't know.
The next time that Peter Seidler is going to speak is either after they win a World Series or when they're eliminated. And, he might talk before that, but I think that you won't hear true feelings from Peter Seidler until this thing is done this year. Because like you said, John, he is, and we've met him before, or I've met him, like he's so optimistic. And you hear him on the radio all the time. He is so optimistic. You hear him on, press conferences.
Yep.
The guy just exudes optimism. So there's no way he's going to come out and go on any radio show or have any press conference at Petco and blast this team. That's just not his style. He won't do that. So
I agree.
I would love to hear from Peter Seidler because it would make amazing content. But at the same time, he won't say anything. So then it probably won't make amazing content like if it were Ron Fowler or potentially tomorrow Steve Cohen.
I agree with you. By the way, is there something that we haven't thought about that could potentially turn the season around that you don't even know about?
I do know that could turn the season around, John.
Padres overalls.
Yes.
Wait, I go. Could that be the missing piece?
Yeah, I don't know about that, John. To be honest with you,
Either do I.
I love Foco, but don't know about this one, guys.
Click the link pinned in the top of the chat if you want to look like those 5 people.
Yeah.
Available while supplies last. Use promo code WrapUpShow10.
Supplies might last for a while.
WrapUpShow10. In all caps. WrapUpShow10, get 10% off. No, this is apparently like the merch item of the summer.
Sure. You're reading the copy points.
That's what I was told. It's the merch item of the summer, dude.
Get that thing off the screen.
I want to see Melvin rock that tomorrow.
Hey, if rocking that means the Padres would win like 5 games in a row, I'd wear it.
I think they're coming for us, to be honest.
It's just so funny. Like, hey, this team, can they win 5 games in a row? Dude, they haven't won 3 games. They haven't won 4 games in a row this year. The fuck, they haven't swept the series yet. How the fuck do you think this team is going to win like 10 out of 11?
That's the 2024 City Connect overalls. First overall team.
Better.
Click the link pinned in the top of the chat if you want them. What'd you say?
I said, honestly, those overalls are better than the City Connect. Yeah, I said it.
James, thank you. He says Machado's contract is backloaded, so he's only making $13 million for the first 3 seasons of the contract. I guess.
Oh, great!
He's just playing like a $13 million player this season. While it's factual, it gives them more flexibility for salary and payroll now. It doesn't impact their average annual valuation, which is based on dividing the years by the total contract. So he might technically be taking home $13 million this year, but his AAV is 31 or 33 or whatever the number is this year.
Yeah, they I mean, you're potentially looking at it as like 36, 30. It's just like a 35-year-old Manny Machado. That contract is going to look really bad.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that yet. It's possible. It is possible. Or it's possible. He's been such a good hitter in his career that there's reasons to believe his bat plays into his mid to late 30s. I don't think it plays at 39, 40. Like this is a weird outlier. Like he should not be playing like this at this age, right?
Can you explain to me why this year Manny Machado
can't hit right-handed pitching?
Can't hit right-handed pitching.
And it was before the injury too.
If his life depended on it, he cannot hit right-handed pitching. I'm trying to look up this stat right here.
It's crazy.
Too Much Borden's put out today. WRC plus for players.
Yep.
Manny has a 66 WRC plus against right-handed pitching.
Right, which is awful. I mean, 100's league average, so he's 34% worse than league average against right-handed pitching, and he sees 70% right-handed pitching, and it makes no sense. He killed right-handed pitching last year. I mean, what? And we talked about it a month ago. I remember talking about it a month ago. Like he cannot hit right-handed pitching.
And sorry, I'm not gonna blame this on like a potential hand thing.
No, it was before the hand. He wasn't hitting right-handed pitching.
He hasn't
hit left-handed pitching.
He's
hit left-handed pitching, yeah, which makes sense. But he last year really hit right-handed. I mean, you have to hit right-handed pitching. You can't be a regular if you can't hit right-handed pitching. Todd, thank you. Says I blame this downfall on Padres Twitter.
Why?
Don't blame. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Not that it's always the perfect environment, but I get it. Padres Twitter's frustrated, like everyone here is frustrated, and we got a good portion of Padres Twitter with us here tonight, live on replay. Carson, thank you. He says, "What could we get for Waka, Snell, Hader? You get real return. I mean, Snell is pitching extremely well, even as a rental. You get real return for him. Josh Hader, rental. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can get some top 10 prospects in there for a combination of those players. Absolutely, even for a rental."
Here's another thing too. If they did trade Waka, Snell, and Hader, like they don't have anybody ready in the minors to come up and like get a shot.
Yeah, but who cares? Like if you trade them, your season's over.
Right, it's true. I get it, but it's like, hey, we gotta see Reese Kinnear every 5th day from now on. We gotta see fucking Matt Waldron every 5th day.
Yeah, we like that knuckleball.
I mean, at that point, we might. I mean, I don't know how, John. Honestly, bro, if they trade Waka, Snell, and Hader, and we have to talk about fucking Waldron and Reese Kinnear, I'm not doing the show.
Yes, you are.
I'm not doing the show.
You're only in it for when they're 20 games over 500? No, you're doing the damn show.
Oh, I mean, you really want? I mean, we're not gonna. Okay, I'll tell you right now, everybody. If that happened, I will guarantee you we will not talk about the games.
We're not talking about. Have we mentioned one thing that happens tonight?
No.
I mean, they scored 3 runs in the second inning, which was impressive. They had some hits with men in scoring position. Reese Kinnear gave everything back, threw way too many pitches, got a third inning. I don't think he should have. He got no outs.
That's going to be tough.
But
you know what? I'm not going to quit on you guys. You're right. I'm not quitting on you.
Yeah. Hey, Jim's quitting.
No, I'm not quitting. I'm here. I'm here for the long haul. We're going to be talking about fucking Reese Kinnear starts in August and September, baby.
John, thank you. He says their F4 coming into today was on par with the Dodgers and Giants and higher than the Blue Jays, Yankees, and Orioles, Phillies, Astros, Marlins. Thoughts? Yeah, I'll give you thoughts. First of all, ballpark factors are a nightmare for the Padres. It's hard to hit at Petco. Are you asking me or us if it adds up? I don't think it does add up. Their pitching would tell you that this team should be a lot better than they've been. The offense will show you signs of life. If you just looked at the June overall numbers, it wouldn't show them to be like a bottom 5 offense because they haven't been. In June, I just think they're terrible in one-run games. They're terrible in extra innings. They're not clutch, right? We're not putting clutch statistics in there with F4. So those are my thoughts.
Yeah.
Maybe the Giants are winning one-run games. Maybe the Giants are winning extra inning games.
I don't care if they have a better F4 than all of the teams that you just named there. Guess what their record is? They're 5 games under 500, and they're 7.5 out of a wild card spot, and the division is kaput, done.
Right. So their F record is 37-42.
Right. What's exactly?
Which is all that matters. But it's fair. I get the point. I mean, it's like, how does it doesn't add up. Here's what adds up. They can't hit with men on base. F4, I don't know if it's taken into consideration or not. Right. It's one thing to hit. It's another thing to hit in clutch situations. And they're the worst clutch hitting team in baseball, and it's not close. Todd, thank you. He says, how do you guys really feel about Padres Twitter? I enjoy it. It creates a lot of content for shows like John and Jim and this.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, I think
there's a faction of Padres Twitter, and there's a faction of every fan base.
Right.
They're complete losers. But like those are outliers. And that's
I agree.
You see people all the time saying shit that you're like, whoa, dude, I don't want to associate with you.
Sure.
But then there's other people that are like, they're just funny, and they're just kind of, fun follows. So yeah, there are people that are idiots, and there are people that are entertaining, and then there are people that are downright like disrespectful.
And then there are people that support our partners, like our friends over at Aura, ORA.organic. Their co-founder, Will, is a San Diegan and a lifelong Padres fan. This is a great company with offices right here in Liberty Station in San Diego. You can get free shipping on U.S. subscription orders over $50. An amazing company with all plant-based nutritional products, including the probiotic I've taken every single day from Aura for over a year. My wife's been taking their product for 5 or 6 weeks, maybe longer. Now at this point, you take it for digestion, heart, mental health. There's a million reasons to take a probiotic. They have them at Aura. They're plant-based. They have proteins for after workouts, pre-workout supplements, omega-3 oils. If you take fish oils, you can take the omega-3 from Aura. They have sleep pills, immunity pills. Go to the website, click the link in the description down below, or just go to ora.organic. You can shop and browse as you watch or listen to the wrap-up show. But a great company. Everyone's looking to get healthier this year. Yourself, your family, your friends. If you're looking to get healthier, if you want to support our channel and support a local business, please check out ora.organic.
Yeah, go there right now. Check out some of our supplements. They have everything you need to live a healthy lifestyle. Summer has already begun. If you want to look good and feel good this summer, go to Aura, www.ora.organic. And when you pick up some of their supplements, you will feel good about yourself, and you'll thank us later.
Yeah, I know Fernando really struggled tonight. Overall, as I pull it up, and he's a hot, cold guy. He can be. I mean, overall, he's got an 81 OPS, 280 batting average, 0 for 5 tonight, multiple ground ball double plays, I want to say.
Multiple.
So, he's also missed a year in the 20 games. I know there are excuses, but I don't think Tatis is really accountable for this mess.
Here is a perfect example of how this team just isn't in the right mindset right now.
Okay.
I forget what inning it was. Let me look real quick. Whatever. Whatever inning. Okay. Runner on second. Shallow fly ball to left center.
Mm-hmm.
Soto, instead of throwing to second,
Through home.
The runner advanced to second and put that man in scoring position. And Xander Bogaerts is in shallow left like this. And you hear Mud be like, what? Like, translation for what Mud wanted to say, what the fuck are they doing?
But can I say this? And you're right. Okay, 100% right. But can I say this? In Juan Soto's defense, he's not good in the outfield. Like, it's
Well,
not because they're
still,
37 and 42.
that's
He wouldn't make the
basic,
same mistake.
but it's basic.
Yeah, but they make I'm telling
No.
you, Juan Soto, we watched last year when this team was good, and he's not a good outfielder.
But that to me, that just can't happen. That doesn't happen with good teams. That doesn't happen
It shouldn't.
with guys that have played the outfield for their entire career. You see the guy's going to score. You're not throwing him out. You do not have a arm like Vladimir Guerrero. I'm sorry, you don't. You got to make sure that runner doesn't take the extra bag to second.
Correct. Yeah, it's a play you could expect someone like Tatis to make with limited experience, and he made it.
I don't expect anybody to make that play for you in the outfield.
Well, I think it's excusable with Tatis, like the first 10 games of the season, where like he's a deer in headlights, right? He missed 20 games, missed a year, doesn't play outfield. But now Tatis has fielded his position well. Soto, I don't know. Soto's not there for his defense, but the point's valid. I mean, the point's valid. I mean, they have to clean up the way they've played because they're not playing clean baseball, and it looks even worse, losing every single night. Scott, thank you. He says, okay, John and Jim, you're the new GM for the Padres in 2024. What moves do you make?
Ooh, I like this one. You want to go first?
Well, yes. Because I would say this, Scott, the reason I don't think it's the greatest job in baseball heading into 2024 is your hands are tied. Got a system with low-level talent that will develop over the next 2 years, 2 to 3 years. And then you got a major league roster that you are held captive to for a significant period of time. And I'm not talking about like one bad deal. And they're not even about being bad, but Machado long deal, Bogarts long deal, Darvish long deal, Musgrove long deal, Tatis long deal. I mean, you can't even put your stamp on the damn thing. That's 65% of the payroll. I don't know if it is, but you get my point.
Here's what I do. This is like a long list of things. I get rid of Trent Grisham. I get rid of Austin Nola. Every catcher you have on the roster, I get rid of.
No catcher 2024.
Luis Campusano. No,
just throw the ball at the umpire.
Yes, but the thing is, I'm getting a catcher. Is what I'm saying is like I'm getting rid of all these guys. I'm getting rid of that. I am trying to trade Jake Cronenworth. I'm trying to, if I can. I mean, no one's gonna. I mean, the Bogarts thing just kind of. I don't know if he's gonna age well, man.
But you're not trading Xander Bogaerts after the first year.
Yeah, you can't. But like that's what I'm doing. I'm getting a center fielder. I'm getting all new catchers. I'm getting a first baseman, and those moves are easier said than done. But if you can get off all of that and get off of some money from the stuff that you paid Cronenworth, I don't know. I mean, maybe, right? But you have so much to do here. That's
why I'm like, and not to like, honestly, not to kick AJ Preller out of the job while he has it, although most of the people here probably would do that. So it's not like the most egregious thing I can do but like even thinking about like candidates, I just don't know how desirable it is. I think there's reasons to really like it because they've committed with a significant payroll. I think ownership is obviously rock solid under Peter Seiler, and then there's reasons not to like it as much because, again, can you put your stamp on it when they've committed so much spending in future years to veteran players? Like, I don't know. I mean, is it this dream opportunity for 2024? I mean, first of all, the next guy that gets it's going to want like a 6-year deal because he's going to say, well, these first 2 years, I got to clean some of this up. You know how it's going to be sold. I mean, I don't know, but I have to go get an experienced GM that has won like a World Series. I got to go get. I mean, it's going to be easier said than done. I mean, to get Theo Epstein or there's some names as we get closer that we can discuss that probably don't need to be discussed as of yet that I think would be intriguing that I've thought about, to be honest with you. But I don't know. Is it going to be the job that everyone's going to be coming for? Or are they going to have to go twist some arms to get someone to take the job?
We need to actually have a positive note here and something
Yes, please.
positive. As Charlie pointed out, and we know that Maria went and got interviewed today for a Padres job. So
Was it today or yesterday?
Maybe yesterday. But hopefully she gets it. And everybody in the chat, send your best wishes to her.
I believe in Maria. We are rooting for you. And I want to say, because I was talking to her last time we were at Fair Play, I think she was applying for president of baseball operations and general manager.
So Maria would be the next GM of this team.
Yeah. So it's a big job.
I am personally rooting for that because then we would have the inside info for everything.
Yes.
And we'd be privy to a lot of stuff that most people aren't.
So it's down to like Maria and like Theo Epstein, maybe a couple of other candidates. Maybe they're going to bring in, but it's nice to see Maria on that final short list.
Right.
Maria, good luck.
Or Theo.
Fingers crossed, Maria. We're thinking about you.
Going with Maria.
Exactly. If you're here, please support our partners, including Underdog Fantasy. It's been a long night. Make sure to join this contest going on right now, the 7th inning stretch. Here's the deal. You draft, they set your lineup every week, and then take care of everything else. There's no waivers. There are no trades. It is $7 to enter. You can win part of $150,000 in total prizes, including $30,000 for first place. Sign up from now through July 14th at Underdog Fantasy or on the Underdog Fantasy app. If you use promo code PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP, you will get a 100% deposit match up to $100. Again, promo code PODSWRAP, and you will get a 100% deposit match up to $100. Here's the website, underdogfantasy.com. Easy to sign up. Use promo code PADSWRAP. You will get a 100% deposit match up to $100. You can play daily pick'ems as well. We've been doing it all year long. It's so easy to win. Daily pick'ems going on right now. Daily drafts going on right now. Underdog Fantasy or on the Underdog Fantasy app.
I mean, what else? I don't know, man. This is bad.
It's not good.
We're gonna do the same shit tomorrow.
No, Blake Snell tomorrow. Win day.
Yeah, he's gonna go out there and pitch like 6 innings with 18 strikeouts.
Meanwhile, the guy's facing Mitch Keller is like the greatest pitcher in baseball.
He's their best pitcher.
Yeah, he is. He is. That will not be easy. I remember Snell a couple of years ago, his first season with the Padres, like his second start in Pittsburgh. Oh my gosh, it was awful. That's when he called out whomever it was. Was it Luis Campusano or who was it?
Yeah, he threw him right under the bus.
Yeah, it wasn't good. But Snell has really pitched it well. When you need someone, I mean, they really need this. Is it Snell then who? Snell Musgrove. I mean, if you're ever asking for Snell to be the way he's pitched and Musgrove to be the pitcher he's been with the Padres, I mean, these are important starts. Musgrove against the former team. Snell, they're just important. I mean, honestly, they are. You can't go out and lose this series. You just can't. And you got Blake Snell and Joe Musgrove against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Win 2 games and
you win this series.
You know, it's better than the alternative.
Because you got to win this series because you're going to Cincinnati and they are fucking red hot.
Mm-hmm.
And there's going to be 40,000 people at Great America Ballpark or whatever it's called now.
Yeah, it might still be called that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is not going to be an easy road trip.
Not after losing the first game. You're right.
No,
it's not. JD Gasha, thank you for your super. He says LSU fans took almost 70,000 jello shots at Omaha during the College World Series. I saw that. How long would it take Padres fans to match that with how frustrating this season's been?
One night.
You could probably do it in a night. I mean, not me or you.
Yeah,
but
it was it'd have to be like a Saturday night, though.
70,000? Yeah, probably.
You gave everybody that came out of the ballpark a jello shot to take.
And this is a great point from Rocket. Thank you, Rocket. Snell quality start with 0 run support. You know the vibes.
They're very good at that. Yeah. They'll go 6 innings with 1 run, 10 strikeouts, and they'll be down 1-0. No, I think tomorrow they're gonna.
You said, what'd you say today? And I had to talk you off that.
I thought they're going to beat the shit out of them.
I think they're going to. I'm like, why would you think that? You've been watching. What have they shown you?
I don't know, bro.
And now you're like, I think they're going to win tomorrow. And I think they should. I think Blake, if you get this pitching, here's the thing that they didn't get today. And again, I don't understand not pitching Blake Snell in 4 days rest. But the thing they didn't give themselves a chance because Reese Kinnear's going 2 innings, allowing 5 runs. So it's hard to win a game like that. Like, if you can get consistent starting pitching and if you can get Michael Wacha back, then let's see.
You know that Darvish didn't even make the trip?
He didn't make the trip because he's sick, but he's supposed to join him in Cincinnati.
I know, but there was a thought today that maybe Darvish could like pitch tomorrow or like, you know what I mean?
Probably not. Exactly. It's a good point.
But I didn't know he didn't make the trip.
Yeah, he didn't make the trip. Vector, thank you. He says, Manfred Monfort's criticism seems valid right now, sadly. No doubt.
Dick Monfort is smoking a cigar somewhere. He's like, I was right all along.
No, of course the Rockies are even worse. But, maybe some of the criticism was legitimate. Ruben doesn't have time.
I don't have time either.
I don't have time. All right, guys. We will catch you on the radio tomorrow at 3:00. Join us. We'll get you ready. As the Padres play the Pirates right after 4:00 Pacific. And then join us tomorrow night, 9:30. We'll break down game 2. It can always get worse, but hopefully not tomorrow, not with Blake Snell, and hopefully not the day after with Joe Musgrove, because it is now or never, let's be honest. It is now or never for the Padres as we are a month out from the trade deadline, and the Padres are playing as poorly as they've played all year. 5 games under, 7.5 games out of a playoff spot. We always have time for you. If you're here, please subscribe. Year-round Padres content. We really do appreciate the subscriptions. I think we're pushing for 4,900 subscribers overall coming into tonight. Let me just quickly check on that because I'm going to ask for your support by clicking that subscribe button. We're 3 away, Jim. 3 away. So if you're here, here's the deal. If you're here, please subscribe. We can see it in real time. We really do appreciate that. We are here for Padres fans year-round, in season, out of season. When news breaks, we are here for you. So we do appreciate your support by subscribing. Smash the like button for us as well. We appreciate that. Follow us on Twitter at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. Appreciate your support of our partners. Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance, our title sponsor. When you have insurance needs, click that link in the description down below. Mark will save you money. He's a huge supporter of this channel and a huge supporter of Padres fans. Ora, ORA.organic. Again, click the link in the description down below. They have plant-based nutritional products. If you're looking to get healthier, do it with Aura. UnderdogFantasy.com. Use promo code PADSWRAP and get a 100% deposit match up to $100. And again, our friends over at FOCO, if you are looking for Padres merchandise, click the link in the description down below or the link that's pinned in the chat right now. If you want those overalls, I know you want them, Jim. Use promo code WrapUpShow10, WrapUpShow10 in all caps. You'll get 10% off your order. All right, we're 2 away from 4,900. I trust you guys. Get us to 4,900. We'll see you tomorrow at 3:00. Then tomorrow postgame on the wrap-up show. For Jim, I'm John. See you tomorrow night.